Hello everyone. Today we will learn the 12th chapter from your NCRT textbook, that is What If It Finishes. Here they are mainly talking about a non-renewable source of energy. So first of all, what is an energy? Energy, it is an capacity to do work. Energy is used for cooking, for traveling, for farming, and for playing, for many other different activities. We get energy mainly by the natural resources. Okay, so there are two types of natural resources. One is renewable resources, and other one we call it as an non-renewable resources. The first one, renewable resources. So what are these renewable resources? The resources which are present in unlimited quantity, okay, which are present in unlimited quantity and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities, okay, and which do not get exhausted by the human activities. You can use it again and again and again, okay. So there is no limit for this. The resources which are present in unlimited quantity, which are unlimited, you can use it again and again, and we are not likely to be exhausted by human activities. We call it as an renewable resources. For example, sunlight, air, they are called as inexhaustible natural resources. The other one we have a non-renewable resources or exhaustible natural resources. Okay, so here the amount of these resources in nature are limited. So the renewable was unlimited, but the non-renewable resources, they are present in a limited quantity. Okay, they are not present in plenty, they are present in a limited quantity, and they can be exhausted. Okay, they can be exhausted by human activities. If you use it too much, if you consume it too much, one day this all the resources will get exhausted. So this is called as an exhaustible natural resources. And some of the example for this will be the forest, the minerals, coal, petroleum, natural gas. They all come under non-renewable resources or which gets exhaustible. So your lesson starts with a bus journey of a school students who were going on a school trip to Adalat Stepwell, which was about 18 kilometers from the Ahmedabad. So they say that we began counting the vehicles on the road. As they were traveling, what they did, the students were counting the number of vehicles which was moving on the road. Okay, and some of us counted bicycles, some others counted bus, cars, and motorcycles. Okay, some of the students, they start to count the number of bicycles present. Some of them started to count the number of buses moving, some cars, and some others were counting the motorcycles. And the students called as Abraham, who was counting the bicycle, he got bored very soon. Why? It is because he could hardly find a bicycles on his way. Okay, the number of bicycles which was traveling or which was moving on the road was very less, and so he got bored. Then the driver suddenly braked at a red light. It was a big crossing and we could see the traffic lined up all the sides. Okay, then the driver, he suddenly braked at the red light, and as the students they saw around, they could see a big crossing, and they could also see the traffic lined up all the sides, all the four sides of them was completely covered with the vehicles, and all the vehicles were making the horning sound. Okay, they were making the sound of horns, and a large amount of smoke was coming out of the vehicles, and maybe that is why the little boy in the rickshaw was coughing so much. Okay, so that's why a boy who was sitting on the rickshaw, he was coughing so much. It is because of the smoke released from the vehicles. I smelled something familiar. I remembered the smell. It came from a Baba's tractor in the village. Okay, he said that he smelled something similar like his Baba's he remembered the smell. It came from their Baba's tractor in the village. So now tell me, what are the different kinds of vehicles that you can see? You can see car, bus, auto rickshaws, motorcycles, and also the bicycles. Do you think they all need petrol and diesel as a fuel? Yes, almost all the vehicles like car, bus, auto rickshaws, motorcycles, they need petrol or diesel or CNG, but the bicycles, they do not need any such fuels. Which other vehicles run without the petrol and diesel? So bicycles, they do not need any such fuels. Okay, so next, do you ride a bicycle? So if yes, where all do you go on it? So if you ride a bicycle, you can say yes, you with the help of the bicycle you can go to school, market, a playground, or if you want to meet a friend, you can use a bicycle the shorter distance. Okay, what problems can we have from smoke coming out of the vehicles? So the smoke like problems like coughing, nausea, headache, and diseases related to lungs. The smokes is going to cause a many different types of problems like coughing. Okay, you get an headache, you get a many diseases which are related to the lungs. So on the petrol pump, after some times our bus stopped at petrol pump. Okay, after traveling for some times, the bus they stopped at the petrol pump. There was a long queue. It seemed as if we would have a long wait. We all got down from the bus and started looking around the petrol pump. Okay, so as they reached the petrol pump, it was a very long queue. Okay, and they thought that it would take a long time until the vehicle gets filled with the petrol. And so the students, what did, they just got down from the bus and they just started looking around the petrol pump. We saw many large broad posters. Okay, they saw many posters. So here they have written, petrol and diesel will not last forever, save it for your children. Okay, this was a poster. And make every drop go long way. Switch off the engine when you stop the car. So this was written on the posters. We could not understand why it was written that petrol and diesel will not stay forever. So the students, they did not know what was the reason for this statement, like petrol and diesel will not last forever. They did not understand why they have written that. We thought of asking an uncle who works at an petrol pump. So what they did, they thought to ask about this to a uncle who was working in an petrol pump. Abraham, he asked, uncle, from where do we get petrol and diesel? So Abraham, he asked to the uncle, from where do we get this petrol and diesel? So uncle who works at the petrol pump, he says, we get the petrol from a deep down under the ground. Okay, he says that we get the petrol from the deep down under the ground. Then Manju, but how does it get made there? Yes, how does it get prepared there? Or who prepares there? How does it get prepared? Who makes the petrol at the deep down under the ground? So then uncle replies, it is formed naturally, okay, but very slowly. It is formed naturally, okay. No one is going to produce there or prepare the petroleum. It is produced naturally, and but it takes very long time for the production of the petrol. It is not made by human being or machine. Okay, this petrol is not made by any of the human beings or any machines cannot prepare the petroleum. Okay, it is to be produced naturally. Then Abraham says, then we don't need to buy it. We can take it out ourselves using a bore well, like we pump out water. So if it is going to occur naturally, then I think we no need to buy it. We can just put a petrol. We can just put a pump, and we can just take a petrol as we are taking an water. Then uncle says it is not found everywhere. Okay, like water, it is not found everywhere, but only at a few places in our country. Okay, this petroleum, it is not found everywhere. It is found only at a few places in our country, and we need a big machines to pump it out and clean it. Okay, and it is not as easy as we say. We require a big huge machines and to pump it, and we need to clean it. Now we will study how petroleum was formed. Okay, the petroleum, it forms from an organisms living in the sea. In the sea there are many different types of aquatic organisms living. So what happens, as these organisms they die, their bodies settle at the bottom of the sea and got covered with the layers of sand and the clay. So we know that in a sea we find many different types of aquatic organisms, and when these organisms they die, the bodies they get settled at the bottom. We know that as they die, the bodies come down and they settle at the bottom of the sea. And then what happens, it gets covered by with layers of sand and clay. Okay, these bodies further they get covered by the layer of sand and clay. And over a millions of years, what happens, due to the absence of air, high temperature, high pressure, these organisms get converted or transformed into an petroleum and natural gases. Okay, these organisms they get transferred into an petroleum and a natural gases, and from then the petroleum it is extracted using an different types of machines. Okay, so we came to know that the production of the petroleum it involves, like, it takes about the millions of years for the petroleum to produce. So Divya, is petroleum going to finish? The poster said that petrol is not going to last forever. Uncle, it does not get made as fast as we take it out. It takes lakhs of years for it to be found under the earth. So Divya, she asked to uncle whether the petrol and is going to last forever. Does it last for a long time? Then uncle says, no, it is not going to last. Does not get. So what happens? It does not get made as fast as we are using. We are using it very rapidly, and the production of the petrol does not takes as fast as we are using. Okay, and Abraham, how will vehicles run if oil finishes? So he's asking, how will the vehicles work if the oil finishes? Then Manju says, on CNG. I had seen on TV that vehicles which run on CNG gives less smoke. The uncle, he laughingly he says, that too comes from below the earth. It is also limited. Okay, the CNG also comes from the earth, and it is also an limited resource. Then Divya says, electricity can be used to run vehicles. Then Abraham says, we have to do something, or else how will we travel when we grow up? So Abraham is worried and he says, like, we have to do something about this, or else how we will travel when we grow up? Then Divya says, my dadi, that is grandmother, she would be happy if fewer vehicles run on the road. She says that, look, vehicles line up like ants. How will you do when you grow up? Okay, then Manju says, see, only one or two people are sitting in these cars. Why doesn't everyone use bus? So he sees around and he finds that only one or two people are sitting in the cars. He thinks that why these people are cannot use the bus. Abraham, that will save petrol. One bus can carry many people. Yes, Abraham says, yes, you are right. If they travel by the bus, they can save a little bit of petrol. Then Manju, when I grow up, I will invent a car that runs on sunlight. Then we don't have to worry about it getting finished. We can use it as much as we want, he says. Treasure from Earth. It is not easy to find out where oil is deep down below the earth. So what happens? It is not easy for us to find out where exactly the oil is present. So we need to use special techniques and the machines to find out where oil is found. Okay, so it is very difficult to find out the where oil is present. And so to find out where oil is present, the scientists, they are using different techniques and different machines. Then to these pipes and machine, petroleum is pumped out. Okay, when we find where the oil is present, then um, we should use the pipes and machines to pump it out. Then this oil is smelly, thick and dark liquid. Okay, the petroleum is an dark oily liquid and it also has an unpleasant odor. It contains many things mixed in it. Okay, the petroleum, it contains many different things mixed in it, and to clean and separate this, it is sent to the refineries. So what is this refineries? It is a process of separating the various components of an petroleum. This petroleum, it contains the many things mixed in it. So in order to separate all these different mixtures, it is sent to the refineries, and it is from this petroleum or oil we get kerosene, diesel, petrol, engine oil and fuel for aircraft. Okay, so this petrol, it is not a single product, it has many different components mixed in it. And so which are those? They are kerosene, diesel, petrol, engine oil, fuel for aircraft. Do you know that L.P.G, wax, grease are also obtained from this? Okay, it is also used in making several other things like plastics and paints. So this is how an petroleum is extracted from the deep down under the earth. What all can vehicles run on? So vehicles, they can run on petrol, diesel, CNG, battery and solar energy. So what kinds of problem will we face if the number of vehicles keep on increasing? So what happens if the number of vehicles keep on increasing? Then more traffic on the road, then we have an air pollution, noise pollutions and accident can rise. Okay, suggest some ways to deal with the problems arising out of growing number of vehicles. So we can use in public transport like bus and trains, so that the numbers of the vehicles are reduced on the road. So what is the price of the petrol and diesel in your area? So try to find out what is the price of the petrol and diesel. Okay, so why are the price of petrol and diesel growing up? So why it is? Because the consumption is increasing day by day. The number of people who use the petrol and diesel is increasing day by day, but its production is limited. Okay, so we have studied that it takes about millions of years for production of the petroleum. So the number of people using the petrol and diesel is increasing, but the production, it is still slower. Okay, so because of this reason, the price of the petrol and diesel, it is going up. You can see in the chart here, the number of, in the 2002, the rate of petrol was 29.91. Okay, and in 2007 it was 43, and in 2014 it was about 67.86. And also you can see the rate of the diesels in the different years, so it is increasing year by year. Wood for chulha. Durga lives in a village in Haryana. Okay, Durga lives in Haryana. Every day she spends many hours collecting wood for chulha. Okay, what she does, she spends more of the time in collecting the wood for chulha. Her daughter also has to help her in this. Okay, her daughter, she also has to help her in collecting the wood. For past 3 months she has a cough. Okay, this Durga, from past 3 months she has a cough. Why? The reason is there is a lot of smoke when the damp wood is burned, because of the smoke which has come by burning the damp wood. But Durga does not have any other option. Okay, apart from using the wood, she don't have any other options. When there is not enough money to buy food, where will there be money to buy a wood? Okay, when she does not have enough money to buy the food itself, then where will the money come from to buy the wood? Today, about two-thirds people in our country, they use the cow dung cakes, the wood, and the dried twigs. Okay, they are using cow dung cakes, the wood, and the dried twigs. These are used not only for cooking, but they are also using this for keeping themselves warm, for heating the water, and for lighting also. Okay, lighting also. Many other things are also used for all activities at home, like kerosene, L.P.G, coal, etc. These are also used. Kancha had seen a bar chart in a book, okay, and that shows a number of houses out of 100 that use each type of fuel. So, what is a fuel? Fuel, it is a substance that burns in the air to produce heat energy. Okay, a fuel, it is a substance that burns in the air to produce heat energy. The kerosene, the L.P.G, the petrol, they are all different types of fuels. A fuel can be classified on the basis of physical state. It can be a solid fuel, like example wood and the coal. It can be a liquid fuel, like for example we have a petrol and diesel, which is liquid at the room temperature. Then we have a gaseous fuel, which is a gas at a room temperature. For example, natural gas and gobar gas, they are all different types of fuels. Okay, then it shows that it also shows the use of which fuel has increased and which has decreased over the past 20 years. So this is a bar chart which shows the use of fuel over 20 years, different types of fuels. So you can see there are two charts. One is for the year of 1976 and other from 1996. In this bar chart, it shows that the use of the cow dung cakes and the wood in the year 1976 was about 84. Okay, the number 84 houses were using this. But when it come for the 1996, the use was decreased for about 75. And even there was a decrease in the use of coal. In the 1976, the 5 people used to use 5 houses were using the coal, and when it come for 1996, the use of coal was reduced to the 2 houses. But there is an increase in the use of L.P.G and kerosene and also the electricity in 1996. In 1976, only the 10 houses used to use L.P.G and kerosene, but in 1996 the number increased to 18. And also the same in electricity. In 1976, the use of electricity was limited only for the one house, but in 1996 it has increased to the 5. So this is about the petroleum and its products. Okay, so we have come to know the importance of petroleum in our day-to-day life. So it is very important to save the fuel for the future use. Okay, so how we can use save it, like if while you are driving, you need to drive slowly and at constant speed. Switch off the engine when standing for a long time. Okay, then you should maintain your vehicles properly and use a small burner for small sized vehicles, use of public transport. All this can help us in saving the fuel. So hope you have understood this chapter. Thank you.